at me, I'm what you see. But can you tell the price in heat? I can tell you what I need, but 20 quid will buy a bottle of tea.
Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Chronic Nirvana podcast. And on our very special 11th episode, we have with us Mr. Bharat Narayan Swami from Agni Web. Thank you so much for joining us and for giving us this beautiful space. Thank you, Sanjay. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here with us. And I honestly came across your article in Gulf News where they talked about a very detailed experience in your past and how it kind of molded you and took you places in your life. Like I'm not joking. I read that article and it seemed like a one-pager, but there was a journey. There was an absolute journey that and Appa just he told me that as a coincidence like, he also knows you. So I'm really glad to. We're both really glad to have you here with us and like where you can actually share your experience with us. So I want to jump right in. So from what you used to and what you do now, tell us more about Agni Web and what you're up to now.
Alright, let me start. I came here in '98. I'm basically an engineer by profession. I came here in '98 and then subsequently formed a company here which is I worked for a couple of companies and then formed a company which was basically the hotel and hospitality.
Right.
That's how I ultimately came for that. Right. Business is okay and I used to do a lot of music in the '90s in India with my band. But here I was concentrating more on the professional way of life and going status quo, like things go. And and business was doing pretty okay and stuff like that. We were doing very well. Approximately, I think 2016 or some such stuff. We had a big loss in business. Somebody ran away with the money. Right. So that affected me quite a bit. Because when you're living in a place, you have to support a wife and child, and you know how expensive the wire is.
Absolutely.
And plus, whatever you earned for so many years is just gone in a jiffy. It affects you. It affected me in more ways than one. I was, I wouldn't call this as clinical depression, but I could never see brighter side of anything. So everything was spiraling down. And I was with this kind of a mood for possibly 2 years, 2.5 years. Nothing used to excite me at all. Everything used to look like it's absolutely purposeless.
Yeah.
And it's a very dark corner to be honest with you. You won't even acknowledge the beauty of anything. Then I was in India for some time before I came to Dubai. I came to Dubai on the 7th of January 2020.
Okay.
I was in India from August, trying to see if I can do something there, but nothing works out there, so I came here. Once I was here, 7th of August, and suddenly business started picking up. Got a couple of hours, and then God was pretty great. He said, "Tell me your plans." I got a sense of humor, except here comes COVID. Bang! Right. So business. It didn't spiral kind of, but of course we have a couple of orders and things would work out. So I was sitting alone at my place and I like to sketch. I used to sketch before.
Yeah.
So I started sketching and subsequently I noticed I have a Mac. I noticed there is something called the Garage Bands.
Yeah.
Which Mac has been for 10 years.
Yeah.
I've never bothered to see this stuff. I didn't know what it was for.
Yeah.
And neither, see, as you know, I'm vocalist. I write songs, I sing songs. I compose songs. For me to go into technicalities of sound and recording and stuff like that, was far-fetched. I was not interested at that time.
Right.
I saw this, then I was slightly excited. I said, this I will learn.
Yeah.
So it took me about 20 days. I learned it from the YouTube itself directly.
That's awesome.
Everything.
Yeah.
Then suddenly I realized, oh God, I can play every damn instrument you want.
Yeah.
Okay. The most important thing which nobody can play is with me, is the voice.
Yeah. 100%.
Alright. So I said, okay. So I called up Sandhya. I said, see, I don't know, I feel like doing something just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
I have nothing to do. Everybody's sitting at home.
Yeah.
So I said, I just want to see if I can sing. It's been quite a while. Try and sing. She said, what song would you like to sing? I said, I like to sing the Earth song, Michael Jackson. So I said, okay, let's give it a shot. So As a matter of fact, I record everything on this telephone mic.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
it's not a
The
studio recording.
earphones. The earphones.
Oh, the earphones.
Yeah, I'll show you the mic I got.
Okay.
So it's like this normal one, you know, just talk
Yeah, yeah.
to people.
Yeah.
That's the one I record. The songs.
Okay.
So we vocals recorded in that. Then I told her, she said, okay, shall we do this? I said, what's the budget? I said, budget free.
Yeah.
She said, okay, chalo, we'll pull down stock images. So we pulled down and I just gave her the concept of the feel of the song. We wanted to excite. Obviously, I cannot replicate Michael Jackson and his grandeur, you know. But however I could sing it, I sang it the way I sing it. But I wanted to keep the essence the same. I didn't want to divert from the whole feel of the song. And we wanted to do this song just as an encouragement to all the people around that, you know, you stay strong due to COVID, whatever. So then she came up with a brilliant video, and we sat on the video for quite a while, I think. And the best part is, we are doing this conversation in Botin.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
She's here in Gurul, I'm staying in Jabalale.
Oh, geez.
So, you know, she'd do a couple of edits and say, okay, this is okay, this is okay, this is okay, and then possibly I see it and say, okay, this is not fine, then changes.
Yeah.
This took a couple of. And then she said, okay, fine, what do you want to do? No, the song was ready. I said, okay, let's release it. I said, where? She said, no, we can release it on YouTube. I said, I didn't know how this all works. I'm absolutely zero in tech, okay?
Yeah.
I don't know anything. So I don't know. For me, the telephone is for making a call or receiving a call. That's the level I go to. Right. So she said, okay, we'll make a YouTube channel. So we came out with the name Agni Web, you know, because I said, okay, Agni is a name which I like, and I started sketching the logo and stuff like that, and then I sent it to her. Then she got the logo digitalized and brought it back, and we said, okay, fine, we'll use this logo. We call it Agni Web because this is going to be a digital online rock venture. Simple.
Okay.
We didn't know where we were going to go with this. Nothing else. I like the name. Kept it. She put the song on YouTube. I was thinking, I said, okay, put it on WhatsApp. So I sent it to 10 friends of mine. At least say hello. We got 2,000 hits on the song.
Nice.
Okay. So then I went searching on I said, let me see who else have got hits. I realized after Michael Jackson, we are like third or fourth for a song
Wow.
was released, you know, for the same song.
Yeah.
Because, okay, there are guys who are getting many views because they are coming on American Idol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As an individual singing this song,
Of course.
not many people.
Yeah.
So I said, this is exciting.
It's just a very unique song where, like, you know, maybe they weren't as many covers or whatever, so like
It's
gets
Earth song is slightly difficult for Slick to sing
fair enough.
because
yeah.
it's got a lot of feel, a lot of tenor to it, you know.
Okay.
And typically, I'm a rock vocalist, so I can swing anything from anywhere to anywhere, except for I don't try Michael Jackson, I don't try Lionel Richie, I don't try Tony Braxton. You know, these are
Yeah.
not stuff which I've gone.
Right.
So I wanted to come out of my comfort zone and try something
Fair.
and see whether I'm okay.
Yeah.
So the song came out fine. The video came out unbelievably good. The camera angles and the shots that she has taken and the editing was one of the best editing I've seen. We put the song here. We're like 2,000 plus something views. So we said, okay, that's good. So sitting up in the Facebook, I had a friend who started drumming with Agni way back in '88.
Wow.
Now his name is Ashish Panchal. Ashish is a bloody prodigy. Alright? He was the first. He wanted to drum, and I gave him the first chance to drum with Agni. So he's very close to me, very good friend, and we are all in the same engineering college. You know, I'm a year senior, year or two senior to him. So Ashish joined the band. So I'm just going to go back and give you a little background.
Yeah, I was there.
Otherwise you'll learn. Yeah. We started the band in '87. Myself, a friend of mine, Jaggi, and Ashish. And
Wait, may I ask which engineering college was
this is Bharati Vidyapit College of Engineering, Pune.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So this is way back in '87. So we used to do a little bit of shows, not shows like a college festival and stuff, you know. And then subsequently we started entering into competitions. So Ashish is one of the most phenomenal drummers I've seen because his bass drum kick is one of the hardest,
Wow.
which I can feel, you know. And Ashish is a thoroughbred, hardworking person. So he'll like the song. We virtually, you know, he'll back up the song fully to exactly play the same thing. And that time it was only cover versions. You know, we were not to do originals
Fair.
earlier.
Yeah.
My intention was to only do compositions and originals. That is the idea with which the band was formed.
Right.
So, but initial days it was fun. So we used to go to IIT competitions. You know, there was Mudai in Bombay, IIT House Cast, which is in Delhi. we went once to IIT Bombay with 3 or 4 other Pune bands. 4 Pune bands. I think it was Barney, Exhaust, Aryans, and one more band. On top bands. And I think all the 3 bands got selected. We got eliminated. You know, so in the elimination round itself. So pretty disappointing. And primarily we got eliminated because I think the judges that time was Mahesh, Uday, and stuff. This was Rock Machine.
Yeah.
It was not industry at that time. It was Rock Machine.
Right.
So I think there was a simple song I had for. I think I sang the second pair of words. I sang something that's the song. So I was pretty disappointed. And we came back and we said, "Chalo, it's no big deal. We'll do it the next time." The next one was IIT Delhi.
Okay.
House cast. What's the most? I'll tell you one of the most memorable experiences I had. Alright, I had to tell you house cast. We didn't have money to go. We were in engineering college.
Yeah.
So we sold the books. So all the books are this big. ND Bhatt, which is drawing with the D1 Teraja, which is an electrical engineering this big. Acha paisa milta hai, so no big deal. We sold, we took train tickets, we went to house cast. Now, the important part of us as a band was this. We didn't have any musical instruments. We
Okay.
used to borrow.
Yeah.
Only Ashish had this kit. So
Okay.
he could play. I bought my mic when I started the recordings. So I used to sing without the mic with these guys playing electrical instruments. So I had to be really audible.
Oh wow. Yeah.
You are
that
a
must
ball.
have been a
Alright?
big-
Otherwise they can't hear.
Yeah, of course.
And we don't practice like the normal band. We don't practice like this.
Yeah.
We practice. I'm facing the wall. The 2 guitars are behind me, facing in front. The drummer is behind. So there is no eye contact.
Yeah. Okay.
It's only
Listening.
listening here.
Yeah.
Alright? And nobody's allowed to turn back.
Okay. Okay.
So you make a mistake, you need to know and we need to go through. So what happens? That presence on stage is very important.
Yeah.
The moment somebody bumps a note and you turn back and the whole crowd looks back at you,
Yeah. Fair.
which is very, very important. And we were virtually the pioneers to play AC/DC. Because AC/DC vocals is one of the most difficult vocals. People thought it's difficult. It comes pretty natural to me.
Yeah.
It comes pretty.
That was.
Yeah.
We've had our experiences.
So for me, Bon Scott or Brian Johnson is not an issue. It comes pretty natural. So I could sing AC/DC. So AC/DC is one, and this is a pre-Metallica Guns N' Roses era I'm talking about. Okay?
Yeah.
So we used to play AC/DC, Deep Purple, Judas Priest, some Maiden,
Zeppelin?
Zeppelin, a lot of Zeppelin, Uriah Heep, this kind of stuff. And so we landed in IIT Bombay and the elimination rounds. So we were like 8 or 9 bands, we were lost. So the band started playing at 4 in the afternoon. So when our time came, it was 2:30 in the morning.
Jeez, just wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there were a couple of guys winding up the cables and
Yeah.
3 judges, both of them were sleeping and the
Yeah.
hall was virtually empty. But then we went inside and we played, I think, Back in Black.
Yeah.
Wow.
That first shot and the first scream, I could see the doors open, about 200 people filled it. Elimination, sir, okay? So we said, okay, fine, we're going to be pretty good. We had safe hands. So then we went to the finals, and Ashish won Best Drummer, I won Best Vocalist, Best Showman, and Best Band.
Wow.
Everything won. So that was good for us, and we were riding that wave of success for quite a while in Pune also. Because when you come back to Pune, I mean, everybody knows IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi, these kind of places. If a band does well, the news travels very fast. And everybody is looking at this. So this was, and after that, I think Ashish left. Ashish wanted to do sound engineering. So Ashish went to US, and Ashish is a protege of Michael Jackson's sound engineer. He is in the Florida Hall of Fame. Ashish Manchanda.
He's in the Florida.
Hall of Fame for the top sound engineer.
Wow.
And his body of work is immense. I mean, 30 years after I left, Ashish left in what, 90, 91, 92, I think, possibly. After that, he was doing sound engineering and then he was there in US for quite a while. His body of work right now from A.R. Rahman, he's mixed a song called The Way You Make Me Feel by Michael Jackson.
Okay.
He has done some movie arcs. Body of work is humongous. I mean, with the best of the best. In fact, virtually every day he has an interview with one of the Grammy Award lyricists. It's like that.
Yeah. Wow.
So his experience. So for me, coming back. So one fine I'm looking at Facebook. I know Ashish well, but there's no contact. 30 years.
Wow. So you had all that experience and then like
Yeah. So because I left, I mean, he left '92. I left India '98,
Yeah.
and I was here. So one fine day on the Facebook, he comes in and says hi. Wow. Okay. I said hi to you. That was just after the first song.
Yeah.
So he said, catch a I said, not much, I mean, just doing some music. I said, yeah, I want your advice here. I want to set up a small studio for me to do some recording and stuff like that. So he said, okay, so what are you doing? He said, no, I have a recording label and I own two companies. So he was a company in India, US. I said, TK, I said, you want to do something with me? So I said, chalo karega. So he said, send me this one, what you composed. I sent it to Tears of Fire. Just the first part, nothing much. That day, Ashish had a meeting with the Grammy Award. He's got something called as Ash, an hour with Ash is a program which he has on Insta. So that day there was a Grammy Award lyricist with whom he has interview. He's very particular on time. He calls me back in 10 minutes. He says, no, I'm delaying the interview. Let's do this song. I said, I'm not doing this song. I said, when Agni was formed, and that is after my recordings of the first album called Wind Dance of Fire, we lost my bassist and the manager in a car accident in 1995. 15th May 1995. So I said, he also, they're all friends even with Ashish, we've always done that from before. So I said, Ashish, I want to do a song in which Jaggi is my bassist, he has played. So I'll take a song from Wind Dance of Fire. This is all songs composed by me. And we'll use one song from there. And I will put my experience of depression onto the song. And but I will not change his bass line at all. I'll just keep his bass line. Balance everything, I'll change whatever I want to do. Okay. So I said, but if you want to do that with me, free, I'll give it to you. He said, of course. So I said, I'll basically record and give it to you, you mix and master. And we'll release the video. He said, how do you do the video? I said, video Sandhya will do. It's COVID, we are in quarantine, there's no other way we can do it. She will do a video with animation.
Wow.
So, explained everything there. I went back to the music company which owns Wind Dance of Fire, bought all the rights of all the songs in it. So
Okay.
right now, Agni Web, we have Wind Dance of Fire album with us ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can change the song whichever we want. Because I've composed the music, I've sang the song, I've written the lyrics.
But earlier, did you sell those rights to that?
When you type earlier the deals with recording companies are this, which is where I'm coming to, which
Yeah.
which is something which I don't like, in general. Recording companies, once they own the copyrights, it can go for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, or even if the artist is gone, the recording company can still earn the money on the artist's song, not the artist, not the kid and kid.
Wow.
Which is slightly disturbing for me, which I don't like. Anyway, that's okay. That's how the trend was before, and that's how people used to go ahead before.
That's the industry.
Yeah. So we bought the rights. Naveen is a good friend of mine. He's the director of Urban Music, and he said because nobody was doing anything with those songs for 30 years, the songs are there. I recorded this album in '91, but it's in '93.
Yeah.
With Agni, I have done about 262 concerts.
Wow.
100 concerts. Yeah. I've played inside Tihar Jail, jail number 1.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. With for about 78 press people and 786 contests there inside.
Wow.
It was very nice, good experiences. So Agni, I've got a lot of fond memories. When I recorded the album in 1991, Wind Dance of Fire, we told them we'll do recording number 2 because we're a live act.
Yeah.
We don't know how to do retakes. We just do one take and that's it. But a lot of string bars, and first time entering the studio. So sometimes our voice is low, sometimes we're high. He said, when is your voice the best? I said, about 1:30 in the morning. Chalo, open the studio. I said, open at 1:30. I'll give you my best voice. It'll be fresh, clean.
Did you have any sort of, not rituals, but like health practices that you'd maintain to keep your voice, or you just like enjoyed every aspect? I'm asking because we had someone on the podcast, and she's very particular. Like she doesn't drink coffee, doesn't drink tea, doesn't drink
Oh,
alcohol.
I can do everything. There's no issues for me because I don't sing that much from my throat. I sing from my stomach.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
God has been great. My vocal cords are really large, so I don't have issues with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do get sometimes sore throat. That's because when we were doing the Northeast tour, I was playing 7 cities: Meghalaya, Guwahati, Nagaland, uh, Assam, and Imphal. 5 places, seven cities in the Dimapur, Kohima, and all this place. And so I was singing 36 songs in a stretch.
Oh my.
Okay, so which included covers and the songs of Agni also.
Right.
So I'm starting with Welcome to the Jungle, then I'm singing Shook Me All Night Long, then I'm singing This Love by Panchara, then I'm singing one of Agni's songs, then I'm singing Hard to Handle Black Rose, then I'm doing Pearl Jam Even Flow, I'm singing Big Guns, ACDC. Then I'm singing Zeppelin's Rock and Roll, then I'm singing Highway Star and Space Talking, and going back to ACDC.
Right.
Then we're singing Wherever I'm Going, Metallica, Nothing Else Matters. So the list is incredible, 36 songs.
Yeah.
So
And
I'm
demanding songs like Goku.
all demanding songs, and none of the idiots in my band sing. So it's only me singing.
Yeah.
There's not even chorus.
Yeah.
It's only me singing. So I had to modulate my voice. So I know exactly once I do an ACDC, I know I should do a little bit of Doors next song, and then I can come back to ACDC again, or possibly go to some other kind of genre. So my voice had got already trained, and when we used to practice these songs before the Northeast tour, we used to do the set twice. So that means 6 hours we're doing it.
Wow. Okay.
And sing once, break half an hour, sing once. And this is the way we practice. So it's easier because the stage, we are talking about 100-foot stage, 100-foot stage which is about 6 meters high,
Yeah.
and 100 foot by 40 foot. So it's like the guitarist is there, we are here, one corner, I'm in the middle, and it's only a 5-member band at the time.
Yeah.
You know, lead guitar, rhythm, bass, drums, and vocals. That was it. So when we had that kind of teamwork and stuff, it was imperative on our part that we could perform without even looking at each other, which is the prime importance. Because the moment you get conscious on stage, the crowd knows it. And I love the crowd, because for me that energy which comes out from there is something else, which possibly I wouldn't miss when it's an online concert as of now. But for us it did not matter whether it's one person or 40,000 people.
Right.
The act is the same.
That's
The
awesome.
act will never
Because
ever
from
change.
what
Yeah.
from this entire story, it just resonates so much with I know as generic as it sounds, rock on. Like when you watch that, when you watch a movie, like to an extent, like the same, like the ebbs and flows, like the
Yeah.
fact they're not used to studio settings and how like studios have their own politics and whatnot, and then
Studios, I mean, see, we were
like
we are very
recording
naive. We don't even know what to do with that. So, like for example, there's a mic called near me. There's a song called Darkening Light, of which I took and made the monster with it. So Darkening Light, there's a mic, overhang mic called near me. I have a habit of touching the mic. I can't sing without.
Okay, yeah, holding.
So it said, give me the level.
Yeah.
I do and I'm touching red on the mixer. Ultimately, it was a 10 by 10 room. I was standing in one corner, the mic is in the other corner. That's how we could record the song.
Oh my god, wow.
So even I think Dave Wesley also, when I was singing this, I think when I was doing Tears of Fire, I'm singing from Singapore to the mic.
Wow.
Otherwise, it just hits red all over.
Is this where you record?
No, it's not. We have a studio.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Wait, so like, what did you do? Like, were you always gifted with this voice, like since you were a kid?
I don't see. As I told you, my parents sing.
Yeah.
My voice is slightly round, so I'm able to modulate. But I hear a variety of music. For me, it's not just rock that I listen to. I get some Carnatic music, appreciate it. I can listen to Bengali music, I'll be fine. I can listen to any other genre of music is also fine with me. And I'm jazz, blues. So I have it. And even the Vedas, I can hear everything. For me, it's no issues. And I will always try and pick out the best parts of it. Which for me, if I do music, I have to see colors. And the colors bring out the best in me. I like it to be that colorful. Then I'm able to picturize what I want. Which actually takes us back to the story of when the radio was there. The radio gave you the option to picturize the song the way you want to picturize it, not like the video, which will ask you to picturize the way they want you to see it.
Correct. Yeah.
Which is what is happening now. But nowadays, that is giving the audience a direction at least. You can put it that way,
At least gives them a perspective, I guess.
Perspective.
Like-
This is what I had thought about this song.
Right.
You still do have the liberty to think about it whichever way you want.
Of course.
But ultimately, as I told you, it's all music. The language doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The way it is performed doesn't matter as much as you're able to reach here. So when I write a song, it's imperative. I will write about 10 songs and possibly throw 8 of them. You know, if I don't. And I have to, the most important thing is I hate to hear the songs. I don't like it. Once I make it and keep it, I don't like it. If I start listening to it and start liking it, then I'm pretty sure many people like it. You know? And it's big, so many instruments and so many amazing musicians. But I like to keep things very simple. I'll work with a guitar, a drum, a bass, but I will work a lot on the vocals because that is where my strong point is. So I can do vocal variations, I can do 2-track vocals, I can do chorus, and I can do seconds to it. You know, add to the feel. Have you noticed the most interesting part is I've composed 9 songs of the new album is called 30 Years No Fear.
Okay.
So 9 songs is completed. I don't have a single guitar lead in any of the songs. So I have removed the guitar as well. Have you noticed even the Tears of Fire doesn't have
I was
lead
expecting
guitar?
like a guitar solo, but
There's no guitar.
Yeah.
There's no guitar. I have not put anything as it.
Yeah.
The song sounds complete. So right now I left it the way it is. I do not know if tomorrow morning if I change and I want to do something, I might do, but I'm keeping minimalistic. So I realize rhythm is what goes through. Vocals and lyrics is what goes through. People, that's why the lyrics of Tears of Fire is now put up on YouTube and Spotify. It's already coming to them. So I write a lot of lyrics, and I write a lot of statements. You know, just when I feel like. And nowadays it's because it's a very creative process. I sleep, I suddenly get up at 1:30 in the morning and I write down. I don't write. I send an email to myself.
Oh, okay.
Or if I get a tune, I just hum and send it to myself. Or it is recorded, leave it. So that next day morning I can do it. But my routine, to be very honest, my routine has changed a lot. I get up at 4 in the morning, 3:45.
Okay.
This has been for the past 2 months.
Okay.
I used to walk 14 kilometers, now I walk 8 because I pump iron for another one. So 2.5 hours I'm exercising. After that I have my proteins. And then I'm doing my studio work and whatever else, composing songs, some work which I'm in the office and all this stuff I finished. So by the time I am 9:30, I'm very tired. I have not seen television. I don't have television in the house now, so I don't see television. It's been 5 months. I don't miss it either. I don't miss it. I've not seen Netflix, and even though I've given it to my wife and child, they're watching it, but I've not even seen it. Because for me, once I start doing this, food and all becomes secondary. Because when I'm in it, I want to finish it. Because as I told you, I don't write, so I have to remember. The moment I get a tune, I keep humming it to myself or put it down. Otherwise, if I forget it, it'll be something else. So I like to keep the feel the same. I like to keep, and my songs are written on the mood. I've never written a love song. I've written so many songs. The first love song I wrote is now, which is called Lost in Time. Possibly we'll release it in October. So we have, in Kashmir, we possibly will be redoing Kashmir. I want to release it 26th of January on the Republic Day. And we are trying to get one female vocalist from every state in India to sing it.
Okay.
Female chorus part. So these are all ideas which we are playing around with. So, but we will take it one step at a time and we'll progress the way we want to do it. But I think, honestly, doing music with the facilities available today, I think what you can be an engineer, you're a doctor, you can be a lawyer, you can be an astronaut for all I care, and you can have COVID and you could have any diseases. God damn it, everybody hears music.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is a never dying industry. Because everybody wants entertainment. And if something can make a meaningful change in another person's life, it's worth doing it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the parallels like we actually drew from what you did was actually the podcast itself. Like, you talk about COVID, like giving you time to think. That was like a very important phase in my life, which is basically I was just about to get done with engineering, and as I finished college, the 4th year was kind of life changing in a way in the sense that I was spending a lot of time thinking about what I wanted to do, and it was a quick few years because I did internships, I worked, and I really every summer I was kind of hustling for my money. I wanted to be financially independent in whatever way, etc. And each internship, each thing that I did, I realized that I'm getting further and further away from it. I'm like, this is not entirely what I want to do. And I took, have the courage to accept that, I want to do this whole, I want to do content creation, I want to be able to produce movies and media in the long run. That's what drives me. It's like a drug that gives me happiness, right? And this guy suddenly calls me up and he's like, we should do a podcast. And I was like, dude, who listens to podcasts in the first place? Like, I don't know. And he's like, why listen to podcasts? And then like, this is all happening in March, right? So quarantine, we can't even move out. And I am a stickler for video and everything. We have a fair share of problems and like, mishaps. And this guy, he's just like, let's do this. Let's see what to do. I'm like, okay, I can talk. I'm okay to be on the screen. And that's exactly how this all happened. We started doing it. We did like 2-3 episodes. We're doing it over Zoom. The quality went to shit in a bunch of different areas. Like some people would just be like, we just put a camera here.
Some people would be like, oh shit, we forgot to record.
Yeah, like this.
I know.
All these problems.
But these are all beautiful. See, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Don't look at the result. Enjoy the journey.
I love
That's
it.
what we're doing.
I love the process. It's
The process is that's what I was telling you also. We were saying at the most nothing happens. What we do, we'll have a couple of beers, clap hands, have fun.
Yeah.
5 months of amazing happiness.
Yeah.
Because we could do what we wanted to do, which is of prime importance.
Right.
So the moment you start doing something which you love to do, it never becomes work.
And
It's fun.
And at the same time, also, there is always that fear, right? For example, like when we did our first couple of episodes, we didn't have a direction or whatnot, which is why, like, even though when we released this podcast, right, it's going to be episode number 11, and we were like at 10. 10 is our mark where we, once we make it to 10, we know that, okay, we're here to stay, right? Until 10, we're going to try all sorts of different things. We're going to try and see what works, what doesn't work, and then we sort of try and make things a little more streamlined. We start working on scaling efforts. We start thinking about this more seriously. Until then, it's about finding our groove. It's about figuring out how the process works.
Right.
And honestly, I've been consuming a lot of Gary Vee. If you know the guy,
Ooh.
Gary Vee, big. He's one of the biggest marketers in the world, and he's really big on people trying to be happy in their lives. Pushing people to do what makes them happy, to make sure that people enjoy the process. Not, of course, the results are important. Numbers speak.
See, when you enjoy the process, the result automatically comes.
Yeah.
See, the moment is if you look at it, okay, I'm not saying that you need to dream. You need to dream,
Yeah.
but dream big.
Yeah,
You know,
100%.
like when people are dreaming about मुझे घर करना है, I'm discussing about मुझे कौन सा planet लेना है. You know,
Yeah.
so उस dream में पैसा नहीं रहता है. Come on, you can at least dream big.
Yeah, 100%.
And see, you need to have an aim. But I'm saying that the process of going towards an aim should be enjoyable.
Yeah, and this is something which, at least both of us love doing this because he's consumed and he understands the way podcasts are doing. I'm pulling a Sandhya over here, and which is why I honestly vibe with her so much. While talking, I'm like, yeah, I know how to produce this. You have to take care of the editing. There's so much work in processing that goes on in the back end,
Yeah.
which I absolutely love doing. And that's what Chronic Nirvana is about. Like the way I see it, at this stage, every month has been drastically different, right? Come March, that was one of the first things we did. April, May, whenever we started, right? So it was just ऐसे बोलते हैं ना, it's just a part of it. And now at home, in terms of my chore board, I haven't looked for jobs since I graduated with engineering. I have not really been actively looking. I've just been doing my own thing, and thankfully things have popped up. I got this camera last month, and now slowly, I'm shooting for people, etc. And most of this is actually to shoot the things that I like doing. I want to make short films. I want to do things. I want to start, and I want to do the same thing that you're doing. I want to provide an opportunity.
She's very good in short films because Sandhya is damn good in this, which is very creative and she can actually pull out. In fact, many people are asking me, when we did the first video, they're asking me, how do you visualize? I don't know, possibly she's living in my head. Because I just need to tell her this is how it is. Even though she's not done rock videos, she's not done much at all.
Yeah.
But I need to tell her this is what I feel, this is what I wanted to go across, and possibly she puts it. In fact, Tears of Fire, I did not see the video. I saw it 1 week before the release.
Wow.
I did not see the video. I just said, this is my idea. I want to take this, Garuda Purana into essence and give the elements of fire, water, wind, and earth.
Hats off, Steve. And also, I think, if your idea is so strong in your head and your vision, what you visualize for what this would be is so strong, people would vibe to that and they would, adopt your
Absolutely. And see, I tell you what, as I say again and again, kids your age of this generation, you guys have a lot of clarity, man. We don't have any clarity.
Actually, this has been a widespread
Yeah.
debate, right? The problem has been that in our present generation, right, the possibilities are so much that it's very
But
overwhelming,
attention is not there.
and at the same time, it all comes back to this, right? Like at this age, one of the reasons why I didn't want to look for a job is a couple of things, right? Like first off, thankfully, I've come from we're all privileged. Like we're sitting here, like we can make the statement saying that we are very very privileged to be
Yes,
where we are.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
when we
absolutely.
embrace that privilege, right? Like there's so many. Like I was talking to a friend of mine, and he's like, you know, Nikhil, I love what you're doing. The fact that you started something on your own or whatever. And for me, in my head, I was like, look, I want to be a producer one day. I want to be able to, you know, have a say in how media is produced, in or how films are made. Like how Ritesh Sidwani and all those guys. Like maybe I don't want to be on set all the time, but I want to be the backbone of that entire project, right? I want to make sure my hands are everywhere and things are going the way I want, right? And that's something that's my long-term goal.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
the best way to start doing is I can actively say I'm producing Chronic Nirvana, and that's my baby project. That's what I'm starting. And that was his brainchild. It's his brainchild. I'm producing it, and like together, it's something we both love
It's an
doing.
idea.
And,
Great,
Okay,
great.
it's an
I
idea.
mean, see, that's what I'm saying. As long as you enjoy whatever you're doing, it can be anything.
Yeah.
But why I'm saying clarity is you kids at this age, firstly, for you guys, information is at fingertips, which
Of
we
course.
never had.
And we have to utilize it.
Which we never had. For us, information were parents.
Right.
Okay? But only thing we are privileged is we can do better mathematics.
Yeah.
Okay. We can do it much faster than anybody because
Yeah.
I go to supermarket and I see the bill, I know approximately what value it is.
Yeah.
Oh, she is multiplying 10 into 5 all in front of me and I'm getting a little jittery. When I come from a South Indian family, maths has
Of
to be
course,
little
yeah,
good.
same.
And we use logarithm tables. I don't know
Yeah.
what you guys
Oh, we
do.
did. We used long
logs. Okay, fine.
because I went to DPS, right? Over there,
Ah,
they
okay.
were
No
uncanny.
calculators, nothing.
The worst part was when I went to college, right? I didn't know how to use calculators. They're just like, bro, you can solve this equation, and I'm just like, I don't know how to, but I can solve it faster without
Yes,
it.
yes, yes. And see, whatever be the case, whether you do music or any other field, you want to go as a passion, you want to continue.
Yeah.
Your basic educations give you the foundation to look at things in a macro vision instead of micro vision. So you can have an overall look because that fundamental logic is fed into you with your basic education. So it's important to at least graduate before you start doing anything because even if you, until unless you're like a child prodigy who can only do this, which is pretty rare.
Yeah.
You don't get so many of them.
Okay.
There is only one Telugu and one MS. You don't
Yeah.
get every day many
Right.
people like this.
Of course.
But when you have a different, at least a basic education in some way, and we are fortunate enough our parents are able to give it to us. There are millions of people who without this,
Yeah.
and you are happy with a roof above your head.
Exactly.
Great.
The fact that we have
That's-
that, right? Like that was one of the main catalysts as to why I told my parents that, like, guys, look, if I did engineering, it's something you want, and I've got that as a fallback. I want a couple of months where, like, if you're agreeable to, finance my very limited, like, I'm not living lavishly at the moment, right? I'm not really buying fancy things, and whatever little fancy things I buy from whatever my savings are. And I told them that please just, be my financiers for like a few things for a couple of months. Let me find my groove, but let me try because I don't want to live that life of regret. I think I've regretted doing enough things, like not doing enough things to the point where I'm like, it's fine. I have that privilege, and I want to use that privilege to try and do something, right? Like it's the same thing with the camera. So I put out something recently, right? A couple of basically 6-7 months ago, when I thought, okay, this is something I want to experiment and do, right? They weren't. When I asked people like, hey, can I come shoot with you? They were like, oh no, you can. We'll let you know. And they never really called me back. They were super flaky. Like the same thing that you're doing now is something that I'm actually trying to do too. Like we're trying to give opportunities to people because you have that platform where people can maybe experiment. People can come and find their groove. And I was like, you know what? I might not be the best filmmaker. I might not be the one with the most creative ideas, but I know that I have the resources to provide a platform for people to come ahead and do that. And as a producer, if I can capture those different elements, that's my job.
Yeah.
And put together some great content. Because there might be a guy who might have he might be like, I want to film something in this particular way. They might not have a camera. Boom.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, look, I have a camera. Do your thing, right? I'll work with
That's
you
what I
and
told
let's
you.
do that.
I want to see people only with a hunger. Instrumentation is secondary. It's all work.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the hunger has to be there, and it has to be genuine. I can't take. I take people prima facie at face value. That's fine.
Yeah.
But it cannot be a diminishing thing. Today, tomorrow I want to photograph it. No, this is not something which I can work with. I need somebody who's really hungry, and then I'm 100% willing to take them ahead to the next level.
I'm really glad that you're able to, like say that right now in front of this camera because we're going to be spreading this wherever we can because it's so important the fact that we spread it from my idea where I want people to, I want to galvanize people to, create content and do the things that they like doing. And, obviously so many people are afraid, right? They're, just like what you're doing, right? I'm pretty sure for you, you can get guitars or keyboards or something at the snap of your fingers. You can get material things, but you need people with that mindset and with that hunger to do it. It's the same thing, and I think we need so many more people like you where, like apart from music and across different fields where, people offer platforms because that is so important for this generation.
And I genuinely think that this way of thinking, like, although this is like, in more entertainment side versus like the merchandise and all that, if all industries were thinking like this, right? I have this much, you can use some of this, and in turn it's going to benefit us both.
Yeah, like let's
see. That's what one of my friends was saying.
Yeah.
So your intention is to become a millionaire.
Yeah.
I said no. My intention is to have 50 millionaires working for me.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Let them make the money. See, money should never drive anything.
Yeah.
Because you should be the driving force always.
Yeah.
That's secondary. It's not required. Actually, it's not required. Basic is met, it's not required.
Yeah.
You do your passion, that is required.
Right.
And the moment you start moving towards your passion, money automatically follows.
And the hack I think over there was also to do with like I've been very money minded and it's a very funny. My relationship with money is very funny. One, which is that I love watching money. I love growing money in the sense that if you give me money to do it, but I am not materialistic. You will not see, like I don't chase Gucci shirts or Armani pants. And like I see something when someone tells me they bought an Armani t-shirt for $350, I'm like, you're a moron. Like you could have given me 7,000 rupees, I would have invested that and I would have made like, maybe 10,000 rupees out of it. Like that's my mindset on money, right? But I won't really, I like growing money to invest that into projects, into making things happen. Like that gives me, that's my reason for money. My relationship with money is that so I can pump it into endeavors and activities, hopefully where more people apart from me can benefit. Because that's, again, which is why when you tell me your story, I'm seeing so many parallels and I think...
And you know what, I'm a pretty moody person. Like for example, okay, this becomes damn big and you're all frolicking everywhere.
Yeah.
Somebody is coming and says to me, chalo, chhod de, I'll leave it. I'll do it like this.
Why?
I don't know, let's drop this and go to the Himalayas. Walk.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm the
I'll
same.
do it.
I'm the same. 100% the same.
There is no problem for me
Yeah.
because I have no attachment.
Yeah.
You see, there is no
Yeah.
attachment for anything materialistic. I don't have any attachment.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, now I would not say this was the case 30 years, 40 years back.
Right.
But over a period of time, you mature to an age by which you know exactly. It is not the gift inside the box which makes a child happy. It is the box which makes the child happy. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
They buy the best cars and they put it in a wrapping box with bubble wrap, give it to the child, the car will be outside, the child is playing with bubble wrap. You notice this with every single child. So the more simpler it is, the more easier, and that doesn't cost.
Yeah.
So it is not required to buy, like you rightly said, not required to buy a Gucci or this.
Yeah.
With that same shoe, you can possibly buy 10 slippers for other people.
Yeah, 100%. Like,
So you should always have a heart which gives.
yeah.
You'll always be contented.
There was, again, this circles back to the thing, right? There was, the Gary Vee's book was called like Jab, and Hook, I think. And the meaning of that was actually you give, and then you take. Like there is, and at the stage that we're in especially, it's about giving, which is why like I'm so happy to be investing efforts. Like both of us started this off with just like a very small thing, right?
It was easy.
We didn't really have a goal as such, but like we're like 6-7 episodes down, things picked up, and then all of a sudden I'm just laser focused into making this something. So which brings me back to at this point when I'm at home, like I'm organizing my tasks and everything, right? My earlier Chronic Nirvana was a part of my creative vertical, right? So it's like creative endeavors, my fitness, my what other things am I learning, right? All of a sudden, Chronic Nirvana is its own entity right now. It's like almost feels like running a company, which is it's such a small joy. I'm talking to people. When I'm taking meetings, when I'm organizing podcasts, and it feels very much like running a business. It's such a responsibility.
It does.
Zero budget responsibility, but
Zero responsibility.
See, I was saying now we have done 3 songs. was just thinking, how much did he spend? Hardly anything. Hardly anything, because most of the things are done free.
Yeah.
I told friends, do this, do that. Okay, song is now going great guns. It's not because of us.
Yeah.
There's something else happening which I'm not aware of how it is happening. It's just going, it's going, it's going. As long as it's going, it's fine. But I feel it's going because it's got a purity to it. So that's why it's traveling. You know?
Right.
And I would love the song to reach a lot of people to know exactly how we have gone ahead and done this and provide with the conditions of COVID, with the condition of quarantine, and this was cheap. And so in fact that's why now, at least now, Dubai has opened up. India is slowly opening up. So possibly the third video which we will be possibly doing will be a live video, which will not have animations anymore. So we want to explore whichever part
If
of
you need someone to film
this
something,
Huh?
like if you want someone to film something, you need,
No,
you
you
need
got to
extra
speak to her.
hand.
She's really in charge of everything. Because I make a lot of statements. Like for example, like I can talk about 5 hours. Huh? I can just keep talking. I can talk. There's no problem. So I write a lot of stuff. I write a lot of stuff. So I think one of the interviews, this person asked me, so you get up 4 in the morning. I said, yeah. And you walk 40 kilometers. I said, yeah. So are you crazy? I said, no, you are. Because you think it can't be done.
Yeah.
So what happens is people don't think outside the box.
Yeah.
I said the moment you think it can be done, it can be done. And the body will actually obey the mind. The
Oh yeah,
mind has to be clear.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, it will obey. There's no other way for it. Understand?
That's the change that I know.
Go back, throw the bags, cricket, football, everything is outdoors.
Yeah.
Nowadays, nothing is outdoors. Kids all sit inside. They're either with their phone or with something or the
I'm
PS.
so
the
glad
the
that-
thumbs have got nice muscles.
Oh yeah.
Because they are always in some PS, something.
I am so glad I snapped out of that phase because like until I had finished school, it was still like we went out to play football almost on a daily
Yeah,
basis.
yeah.
And once I came back, I started doing college, that took a toll. Like that's when what you talked about just kicked in. And although people talk about the whole, like I had this whole thing in hindsight where I was like, well, I could have worked on my creative endeavors then. And like you said, it's all about the mindset, right? This whole time, like I said, that 4th year, I had a shift in that mindset where I was like, you know what, I might regret the fact that I didn't entirely, spend my time wisely in college. But I do know for a fact, I've had my quota of gaming and chilling done. Like to the point, like for whatever it's worth, I'm glad that I had its quota. Now I don't feel the need to do it. Hence, I'm utilizing my time better now. So I'm just trying, and that mindset of trying to see the positive in things kind of just really makes you do your thing.
At
better.
least in this scenario as far as COVID is concerned, positive frame of mind is the only thing which will take you ahead.
Oh yeah. Otherwise you're
You
screwed.
need, to
You're in
look
a bad
at, you
place.
need to look at hope. And hope is what everybody survives. It's all
Yeah.
hope. We hope tomorrow the sun will shine. We hope tomorrow. But these are all things which just happen in nature, Nothing goes off. And as an individual, hope is what will take you across from one place to another place. Now, the moment you start thinking that I need to go to that place, you will not enjoy the journey. Start enjoying the journey, you will automatically reach the place.
That's fair, man. That's actually really interesting. Like, because when I moved to Dubai, I was just like, I cannot be bothered moving back to Dubai. Like, it's so hot. It's like, I'm just living at home and all that stuff. And like the journey completely lost its value. Like, it was like everything I'm doing right now. Like, it's like just before the podcast. It was like, what's the point of doing this? Like, it's like I'm not happy day to day because I'm living at home. I lack that freedom that I so crave. And then we started doing the podcast. For Nikhil, it's like a production. Like, it's basically what he can do, a testament to his video ability. For me, it was just about meeting people. And like, and
I used to think that I own this place, I know this place, But I've had my ups and downs, and the best part is with every down, I learned a lot.
Oh yeah.
And that learning curve has taught me today. Okay, you all go through the rigmarole of you get educated, you get married, you have kids, and whatever. Then you think that has your life made sense to you? The moment you start questioning that, then you realize, oh God, we didn't do much at all. I mean, it's a normal routine. I don't like to be on that line. I like to be somewhere either down or somewhere up, because that is where the thrill is. And I love to tread that beautiful line between sanity and insanity.
Oh
I
yeah,
love it.
that's me. That is what
I really
motivates
like
me.
it, and because I like to live this part, but I'll try and test this part too.
Exactly.
You know, and that's what I was telling you. One of my passions are like when they go to Thailand and stuff like that. It's like playing with sharks. Now, sharks, I study a lot. Right? I read a lot about sharks. Now, it's the best part is it's one of the few beings on this planet which can study your heartbeat.
Yeah.
With the fear and that, and it's got the most coldest eyes. It's got no remorse.
Right.
You can just glare at you in the eye and stay there. And being so close to death and coming out alive is a thrill in itself.
Yeah.
Okay, I am paranoid of heights.
Okay.
I am paranoid of heights. I mean, I have issues even looking out. In fact, looking out the window, I will not go very near there.
Okay.
But these are something which I like. These are something which I don't have any. I don't know. It's not a fear. I like that fear. It's like getting your butterflies before going on stage. If I don't get it, then the performance will not be that good.
Yeah, because you need that fear to like
It's
capture
not a fear. It's just the first, and the crowd just stops.
Yeah.
And then we can take this place. So it's not. It's like performing, as I told you, in front of 3 people or 40,000 people is virtually the same for me. And it is the same for me even doing it online. Possibly I'll be watching a wall and singing the songs. That's fine with me. I'll still do what I do before. And that is very important to me. I cannot let that die down, which I don't see much here. In fact, going back to the rock and the music which I was doing before, I found all the people, generally in my generation, of course, they would be listening to the song which we like. Even the new generation, I don't find very, very prominent bands around, which is long lasting, which has come along 30, 40 years or 50 years, 60 years. I've not seen anything evident like that. So possibly because you cannot, that's why the kids of your generation possibly not identifying with one band, bang, everywhere. You don't have a Floyd coming, you don't have a Queen coming, you don't have a Doors coming, you don't have a Beatles coming out.
Yeah.
So it's like that.
I have a theory, I just wanted to run it by. I think that, back in the day, right, music represented what society was. Like, when the Beatles came out, they represented what the society felt. And like people identified with them because there was less options, I guess, in one certain sense. And at the same time, they emotionally sort of, attached. The same thing with Nirvana, Gen X, whatever. But it was like that movement of rage and suppressed energy was like reflected in their music and reflected in the public.
Correct.
Right now, everyone's just confused. There's so much information outside. It's like each person can listen to whatever they want.
The amount of, I'm saying the amount of genres of music has increased.
Exactly.
There's random. Okay, they used to call it pop music. Pop music for me is popular music.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So anything can be a pop music.
Yeah.
Even rock music can be a pop music. Okay, rock's a style of playing. We use the way you play, the way you show attitude. That's it's got a full fixture to it.
Yeah.
I like to take out certain, because even though I don't know the words, there are a lot of strong emotions which come from there. I like that. In fact, we were thinking, we were just questioning. I forgot to tell you. I'm a Tamilian, you know that, right? So,
Yeah.
So I've composed means I'm singing a Tamil song in rock.
Okay.
Okay. I already finished doing the song.
That's
Possibly it'll go down. Okay. So it'll have, I don't know, possibly, that's what I said, Tears of Fire and this song will be possibly the 2 songs you'll hear in the temple and here in the rock. Tears of Fire, yes.
Yeah, I like the Mrityunjay mantra that you factored in over there.
In fact, that mantra was supposed to go slightly to the back. We wanted to push, then Nash said, no, we'll keep it up so that people can relate to it also. So that's how this has come out. So it's like that. So yeah. So if you guys want to know anything else, I will tell you.
But like making music back in the 80s, right? To making music right now. Other than the convenience and all of that stuff, do you feel the energy is still the same?
See, my knowledge as far as 90s are there, and as of now is there. In the middle, I was lost, so I was not there. I do not know the formula which was used in the middle. But for me, I still do it the way I did it before.
Yeah.
I Okay, I will hear, I will do, I will change. I will walk around with a song for 3 days before I start penning it or putting it down. And energy for me is still the same. It's still the same. Okay. It doesn't go with age for me because I consider age just a number. It doesn't make a difference, right? That's why I said I can still go down and play football with anybody. It's no big deal for me. And I love to play gully cricket. All this stuff is all fun.
Yeah.
I love all this. Yeah. And in fact, I feel very uncomfortable when I go to restaurants or just fine dining and all this stuff because I'm used to sitting I sit on the floor and eat. So I feel very comfortable sitting on the floor.
Same.
Okay. For me, when sitting on chairs, okay, this is slightly comfortable. So sitting on those chairs, slightly difficult. I mean, I don't feel comfortable. I put my leg here. I like to go. I have to be very comfortable. Okay. And and this music which I do gives me the same kind of comfort. You know, it's my space, and I like to be there.
That's really good.
And that's how I see it. Primarily, yes, okay, everybody's struggling now, everybody's got COVID, but everybody's got issues. You know, it's not that you don't have these issues. But the moment you don't start enjoying your life and doing something which is fun for you, life will just go away. And you will not even realize. And then when you have the spirit to do it, possibly age will not be there.
Yeah, fair.
So usually wisdom has to come with age, not age alone.
Always. Fair. And I think the other part is experience, right? Like for example, this, like you said, it does come with age, and obviously age isn't something we both have at the moment, right? It's still really young. And that's one of the things I love about this podcast, because we're talking to people who've had those years of experience, and when they share it with us, we are saving on, we are trying, we are somehow getting those 30 years of knowledge that we're trying to make
30
something.
years of my point of view and my journey may not necessarily be another person's journey.
Of course not.
But yes, you can derive a lot of positiveness from this, and as I told you, every stumbling block is an experience, and it has to be taken that way. You know, and all you need to understand is the energy that you possess is the same energy that I possess. Right? It's that energy and where you put that energy and how you want it to explode out. So that's very important. So all of us as individuals, as human beings, as I told you, the moment you start to give more, you get more. You have to give more. Because we're all privileged people. We still have everything. It's not that
Yeah, exactly.
But there are zillions of that, like that. And a small helping hand. I'm not saying contribute anything which can be done for them, or providing them a little bit of education. Because education is very, very, very important. Hunger is a big issue. Hunger is a humongous issue in India. You know, and something can be done. Something can be, in some way, has to be done.
I think giving back is something that can be done in a very, very fundamental way, and that's what I realized the moment I had a few things, right? Like, it doesn't have to, you don't necessarily have to help someone with absolutely nothing. Like, there are kids who might, someone who plays the acoustic guitar really well, right? May not be able to afford an electric guitar. Maybe there's someone who wants to, try their arm at, filmmaking, and they don't have a camera because they feel like maybe the parents don't have the faith. It's an investment. Like,
It's an investment. Yeah.
Not everyone can or are in a position to, trust their kids with saying that, yeah, I'm down to spend 3,000 dirhams for your endeavor. And honestly, when you even give them a helping hand and say, I'll share my resources with you, figure your thing out. That is still giving back. You don't need to be a millionaire to give back. You don't need to have. You don't need to be, because, and that's the mindset I thought. For the longest time I thought, okay, I need to have so much to give back. Then I realized absolutely not. Like, it just comes back to, like, it doesn't be someone who's like impoverished. It could just be someone who, may just be one step low, but like you can help them up. They have to be all the way down. And this is just one more thing I wanted to talk to you about. When you brought about education, saying that it's good to have like a graduation, diploma.
Basic education, yeah.
But when right now I'm seeing this, right? There was this kid who was like 16 years old, right? And this guy is insane, right? He finished school, and during high school there was, Nikon came to their school to do some sort of show. He saw the camera, enrolled in a workshop, told his parents, I want only a Nikon, gets the Nikon camera, starts shooting videos ad hoc, goes to SAE, enrolls in a program here right after high school, or I think after 10th or 11th, he didn't do his 12th and 13th year or something like that. At 15, 16, he enrolls in a, I think, audio ka kuch program, right? and shooting photos or videos. He's doing it over there. So I don't know. He's just doing something. The guy's like a 17-year-old kid who's already doing like a graduate certificate course or something. The guy is minting money. The guy, he's going and shooting for people. He's being flown out to India to different places to shoot videos, and he's like, honestly, I don't. My education, my experience in education is, I chose my passion and I wanted to do this, as opposed to, when I told my parents that I wanted to go to say Whistling Woods or Pune to go to film, and they're like, first you do engineering, then you do that.
See, I'll tell you what.
Like,
Yeah, at that generation, you should give it to them because
of course, yeah,
they are looking out for you. Understand that?
yeah.
So, and they would relate everything to their experiences. They've realized that when they were engineers, they could do this. Now, they do not know your field,
Yeah.
and this is not the time for them to learn your field.
So
That's
now,
very
what
true.
about now though? In this current scenario, would you say the kids who are like finishing school, like, what would you tell them? Would you tell them to like, hey, take some time off, pursue your music, see where life takes you? You can always do college, or would you say, get into college now and do your things along with it?
No, you need to do, like for example, when you said to this kid who is a 16-year-old and he's doing all this stuff, my first thing is, he's got good parents. Had he not come with the correct background, he would have afforded the Nikon camera.
Of course.
You know?
Yeah.
So a person like him, another person would be having the same urge, but possibly doesn't have the facility to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are all chances which happen. And of course, he took it to a different level and followed the passion, became this big
Yeah.
and making money. That's all fine. That's all secondary. But the urge was there, and the urge will still be there, even if the person doesn't have the finance or not finance. The urge will be there.
Yeah.
And to keep that urge alive is very important.
Yeah.
You know. So I would I would not say okay, you drop out of school and do this. I'll tell you what. You drop out of school and start doing it. You better bloody make sure that you're number one in it. Otherwise, don't do it.
Okay, yeah.
I'll put it that way. Okay? Because do you know the second person who stood on the moon?
Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Nobody really
Neil
knows.
Armstrong, nobody knows.
Nobody
right?
knows
Nobody
the second
knows.
guy, yeah.
So, I mean, at least you need to be there. I'm saying that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the person will be number one, but
At least
do
like,
it-
on my
give
like
it
basically
100%.
like the top
Give it
1% of
120%.
the thing, like you better be on the crease.
yeah. And I think every parent today, in today's generation, is willing to give that child, or there is a 12th standard about, take 1 year off, do what you want.
Yeah.
You want to travel?
If you have the financial resources.
Whatever. No. Without financial, you want to go, work, travel, earn.
Yeah.
Do it yourself.
Yeah.
Just keep in touch with us on the phone.
Yeah.
Because now the facility is available, the internet is there. You can always get in touch with people. It's no big deal, you know. And people will help everybody. It's not that everybody is stuck up to not help people. It doesn't work that way. So the opportunities you have are immense, and these are all learning curves for me. Learning this and learning to do how to I don't know what is that. Instagram. Insta is very new for me. Facebook itself is very new for me. Insta. And now something else is coming up. So
TikTok.
TikTok and stuff. She said, you're not managing yours because I'm not posting it. My words which are right below or gone below somewhere. I don't know how to do that stuff. So then I asked my daughter, and she's too busy. She will not do it. And I need to do it. So I learned. And this is very nice for me. I like this stuff. And now I know. Okay, now I know quite a bit. I mean, not as much as what other people know. But yeah. So it gets me good. So I interest myself nowadays looking at my phone, which I never did before.
Oh yeah, because everything's going mobile, right? Everything's going digital, and you need to have that hunger to learn, which you
Correct.
touched on earlier. That
Right.
the fact, just because you don't mind me asking, I don't know how old you are, but like.
Oh, I'm 52.
So just because you're 52 doesn't mean that you say that, oh no, I know my thing, like I did my learning and I'm going to do that now. No, like you still said that's good. I'm going to sit and learn GarageBand. I'm going to learn
Oh, yeah.
how things work today. And because
Oh,
you had that drive, you're able to
I'm
take
very
your
finicky.
decisions.
I cannot take monotony. Wow, I am very finicky. And for me, this doesn't excite me. I will not even look at it.
I really hope it
So that's
inspires
what
you
I'm
to
saying.
do
That's what I'm saying. So when it touched everywhere and we said music, this, that, I went to do everything. Merchandise, about 20 products, because there should be something exciting. Then I can learn this, and I can learn about marketing, I can learn about this, I'll know how to design this thing. I'm going to learn now how to QR. In fact, tomorrow, the day after, I think we're going for fragrance testing. So because they said what fragrance I like. It's because Agni Web, there's a brand name and brand face is going to be me.
So it's all. So when you're taking rock music, the men's perfume will be slightly leathery, smoky, and something. So I used to like Old Spice, which is
Yeah, I know.
something there. So then the other team looks at it and says it can be there, but then it's a limited sale because that's not a very popular
thing,
stuff. So I said, what is popular? It's near that. So they come out with this. Then I see how they're making these fragrances. And that's exciting too. So when I learn that, then I'll see how the bottles packaging is done and stuff like that. And I don't know whether this was a conscious or unconscious effort. None of the merchandise which AgniWeb does is from China.
That's awesome.
None of it, zero.
Yeah.
Zero. Each and everything. There's nothing coming out from there. It's either coming out from India, many of them coming out from Europe, and India, we're trying to work with some small scale industries for making even these laptop bags, stuff like that. Possibly in, I don't know, they said they're going to do it with recycled gunny sack material, give it more earthly, and in fact, that's what even the perfume bottles we were talking about that day, we said, how do you want the bottles to be made? I said I would like to see a terracotta bottle.
Okay.
Made out of clay. I said it will break. I said you put the glass inside,
Yeah.
cover it with clay. I'm going to emboss AW.
Yeah.
It's different. And they said, you know what happens? They said, if you give anybody a perfume bottle, the moment the perfume bottle finishes, they'll throw the bottle away. I said, no, what we'll do is we'll give a QR code and a number of the bottle. If the person buys the bottle in 2020 and brings the bottle back to me in 2023, $10,000.
$10,000. Oh, okay.
Figure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I want them to keep the bottle for 3 years.
Yeah. That's
Awesome.
fair enough, yeah.
So then what happens? AgniWeb the scene.
Yeah.
You fill it with any perfume, that's okay.
Yeah.
The name is there. So I can put these are all gimmicks which they can do a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
Which make sure that it's retained over a period of time.
So honestly, I love the fact that I see a lot of myself in you in the sense that it's very reassuring because I think I'm at a certain space and I've got this mindset in a way. And after this conversation, it's kind of reassured me that okay, I'm kind of going on the right track. And you endorsing a similar mindset, etc., gives me confidence, and I really hope it gives all of you the same. And when you bring stories like this out, we only want to keep inspiring other people
This
to
is
go
for
out
you
there.
guys.
Exactly, and he's spearheading a bunch of initiatives where a lot of people can benefit from if you don't really have the resources, or if you don't feel like you don't have a direction. I think it's lovely that you're providing them that little tunnel vision to sort of just focus.
That little
Yeah,
mindset.
absolutely. The whole concept of AgniWeb still works and will still work on not having employees. So we're having people who love to do this stuff.
Yeah.
So obviously their drive is much more than a person who's actually employed to do the job.
Yeah, for sure.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So monetary gains are all is peripheral. We are more interested into driving this and giving it 200% and seeing where it's going to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll just leave it there. That's fine. But we wanted to push it as much as possible. And I'm very happy the song is already possibly going to touch 100,000 today.
Oh, yeah.
Which is just a week.
Which is
Last
amazing.
Last
Yeah.
Wednesday we released 22nd and today is 29th. Yeah.
I wish you the best of luck, man.
Thanks.
I'm sure it's
I'm pretty sure the song will go well, and all the other songs. As I told you, every single song has got a very unique touch to it. As I told you, it doesn't have lead guitar, and there's no bass guitar in this, and everything is sung in one chord. So it's slightly
It's
interesting.
all experimental.
Well, it was a pleasure for me, and it's good fun. I mean, sharing experiences and finding out the enthusiasm which you guys have, the opportunities which has been provided to you, which was not there in the 90s for us. But it's fun. But it's really fun, and I'm learning a lot.
And honestly, big ups to my dad, and I'm doing this in public, and he's going to be so proud because he was the one who told us this, right? Like I don't read the paper, my news comes from my phone, so like, yeah, I'm that generation, and he's just like, oh, I met this person, everybody wanted to go read, and I was just like, okay, cool, I saw that, I'm like, shit, Dad, can I meet him? He's like, yeah, let's. And so what, honestly, thank you so much, Dad, for at least giving us this idea. I think if there was any, I don't think there's been a more motivational way to kick off this second chapter of our podcast. It's such an important milestone for the pair of us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
yeah, I
they're
think
very
you guys doing a good job, possibly. As I told you, enjoy what you're doing.
Love it.
Everything's
Loving it.
full plus.
And anything you'd like to address to the people, like in the sense that if you a message, something that you're doing, anything that
As I told you,
a shout out.
it's very clear that whatever people are doing, they need to enjoy the journey, which is the most important thing, and have fun and give. Very important thing is to give.
Lovely. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate you taking your time out, and we wish you the very best for all your projects. I'm pretty sure this is going to go places. We can't wait to chug some of that Agni Web beer. We're going to make a video. And just another
challenge in it.
Yeah, one more challenge. Yeah, we'll be a part of it. And
We can do something.
Dakshi's going to wake up hungover again. Thank you so much, brother. It was a pleasure.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you guys on the next episode. Thank you so much for joining us in this entire journey. It's been a ride. We're so grateful. And we really hope you picked up something from this podcast. And we look forward to bringing more engaging content.
Welcome to Chronic Nirvana, Chapter 2.
Chapter 2. Thank you so much. Take care, and we'll see you on the next episode.
You.
Yes, you.
Thank you for watching the Chronic Nirvana podcast.
And if you aren't following us on Instagram yet, what are you waiting for?
What are they waiting for?
Make sure you do right now. Like before you stop everything you're doing and follow us on Instagram right now at Chronic Nirvana.
100%. And if you have any friends that would like to be a part of the podcast, has an interesting story to say, please let us know in the comment section below or on Instagram.
And if you feel like you yourself have an interesting story to share and want to be a part of the podcast, make sure you DM us on Instagram or just leave your suggestions down in the comment section below on YouTube or on Instagram or wherever we put out the podcast. Honestly,
100%. And if you don't have the time to watch a Chronic Nirvana episode, please do check out the Chronic Nirvana clips on YouTube and get yourself a new job.
So this is Nikhil
And I'm Dakshay.
and this is Chronic Nirvana.